welcome back. You're still watching E-Vibes, the entertainment show on Signature TV. So happy birthday to each and every person that today is his or her birthday. All our celebrity that was popped up there. You say if you're a celebrity, even if your picture is not there and you know it. Okay, so this particular segment, I'll be having a conversation, more of a conversation than an interview, with my guest, whose name is Ezekiel Blessing Idoreyin. She is popularly known or preferred to be addressed as Idoreyin. She's a dental therapist and spoken word poet. I know you'll be wondering how. She will tell us all that. Okay, so we'll be talking about poetry as a form of entertainment. All right, over to you, Blessing. Okay, Idoreyin, sorry, my bad. Thanks for joining us today. How you feeling?
I feel great.
You okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Are you
very
very
sure.
sure?
Yes.
Don't mind me, I'm very hyper most times. Okay, so talk to us, right? What actually inspired you to start writing poem? Because you are a dental therapist, Auntie. Explain to us why you decided to start writing poem.
Okay, poetry to me started as a form of expression. Actually,
Okay.
at some point, it became therapy.
Mm.
Yeah. So living in a house where you're the last, and everybody are all grown. You get so you don't get to talk about certain things. I mean, there are things nobody asks about your opinion.
Are you serious?
Yes, like, I mean,
I thought the last person in the family is always the favorite.
not like that. I mean, they're having like real issues, and
Nobody knows about it.
yeah, nobody. I mean, what do you know as the
Okay, that's
youngest?
the...
Yeah, so you want to talk about certain things, and even if you talk about it,
Mm.
nobody will listen. And I'm a very sensitive person.
Okay.
I'm very curious. I would love to ask questions. But then, these questions are, the one that, you talk about it and people like, how do you even think? I mean, that's weird. I mean, so, I mean, you don't talk about these things, so you just write them down.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I grew up, as you know, when you grow up, you experience life and you have your own problems
speak up a
and
bit.
challenges. So I started writing for ease
To ease
off
yourself.
those emotions that I really couldn't express. So yes, that was how I started writing. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to express myself. I wanted to talk about these things. Yeah. That's how
Okay.
I started writing. I didn't even know what it was. I just know I wanted to say my mind. And I was scared too of what people would say when they see this thing. So I really didn't write it in clear terms. I just, just paint it with words.
Words.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point did you discover that it's a form of entertainment? Because you earlier said it's like a therapy, right? Like you just clearly said now that you don't know how to express yourself, so you prefer to put it down, not in details, but with some certain words. Because poem is more like a proverb or something. Yeah. So at what point did you now discover that it's a form of entertainment? Because now it's a form of entertainment.
Yes, it is.
So at what point did you discover that apart from being therapeutic, it's a form of entertainment?
Okay, just like I said earlier, when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. So when the pandemic happened, everybody was at home doing nothing. So I initially I wasn't into social media. Like I wasn't a social media person.
Okay.
So probably if I was, on Facebook, on IG, I just had WhatsApp. I'm very I don't want the noise. I just want to be left on my own. I mean, I rather deal with real people than get to worry about all the social media trends and all. I mean, I was very, very young. I just left secondary school and all. So I didn't know what it was. So maybe if I was on these platforms, maybe I would, bump into one and know what I was really, really doing. So all I know was my classmates said what I did was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so in as much as they don't know what I was doing, they kind of like, got the message and they enjoyed reading what I write. in as much as they don't know the emotion, they just read it and like, this is it's sad. I mean, they're just touched by,
They
the
resonate
words.
with
Yeah,
it.
it resonates with them and all. So they said it was cool. So when during the pandemic, I was thinking of what I could do for myself, because we have a business,
Okay.
and it involves everybody, like a family business. So I don't really get to, in as much as my mates were trying to get a skill and all of that, I couldn't really live to get the skill because of this routine. So I thought of what I could do for myself,
Yeah.
and not for everybody. And just because at that point it looked more like all I did with my life was go to school, and I mean, there's no school, so what will I do with myself? So I started thinking of what to do. So I spoke to some of my friends, and they're like, go back to writing, just go back to writing. I mean, you wrote really cool stuff. And when they said I should go back to writing, I've stopped writing. I wrote when I didn't have a phone. When I was in secondary school, I didn't have a phone. So I mean, there was literally nobody to talk to. I mean, I had to be in school to talk to somebody, and I don't have so many friends, you get. And even the friends I have, I don't want to talk about it. So that's why I wrote these things down. So I have a phone now, and you're bored, you can talk to somebody. I mean, you can view a story on WhatsApp and just laugh. You understand? So I kind of like, I do not connect with myself. I do not stay with myself for a longer period. So I don't have, I don't house this emotion. So it's when these emotions are heavy on me, and I want to talk about it, I want to express it. That's when I started writing. So it didn't make sense during that pandemic, and school resumed and life went on. But during the ASU strike, I mean, I had to do something.
So you continued.
So I tried. I reached out to some people that I knew that were writers, but they were struggling like me, So I met a friend, and I told her, okay, I mean, the thing is, somebody saw my piece and said it resonated with her, and she was talking to me about things that ordinarily she wouldn't talk to me. So it meant that piece did something to her. So I was like, okay, I can do these things. I mean, let me know, because I said it was therapy for me. So let it not be for me. Let it be for others too. So that was when I said, okay, I'll do this. Initially, I was scared because, I mean, my family don't know. I didn't do literature. I was a science student.
I was actually
pure.
coming to that.
Yeah,
I was actually coming to that.
How? I mean, how would I answer how? How did you get here?
Yeah.
So I couldn't explain this. I just knew I wanted to do something, and I didn't want them to know. So, they wouldn't laugh or discourage me.
Your family?
I became anonymous. Not like they would discourage me, but, there are comments people make, and, kind of like, they're like, how? Because they'll be asking me, how did you get here? I mean, are you joking? You just wake up and you say, I want to
start writing.
Like, how? I mean, we don't know you have,
such skill. Because, sorry to cut you, right? You are a pure science student. In as much as, yes, we are all born with a talent, okay? Of course, you're meant to go for classes for this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But the fact that people could actually resonate with your art. Now, I want to ask, did you later further going for classes? Did you go for writing classes or poet classes or something? No. Did you go for it? Or you just kept on writing with whatever that comes through you? And you pen it down? Because, anyways, let me not move faster than my shadow. But tell me, did you go for classes after realizing that you're very good at this during the pandemic and during the ASU strike?
No, I didn't. It was when I really wanted to do this thing for others and not just for me. I realized that, there was a name to what I was doing.
Okay.
And it was called spoken word poetry. I realized, what I did had a name. So I found out that there are people doing this thing, and I loved the way they were doing it, and I could actually improve. I started learning one or two things.
Yeah.
But later on, I signed up for a couple of classes online. But the truth is, I mean, I don't know. I would say they don't do much. I mean, they just help you. Like, I don't know how to say it. There are some people that are gifted. So what the classes do is kind of like help you, like push you, like you just know what to drop and what to keep up with.
Yeah.
So that's what the class
does.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there ever a time that these classes clashed with your dental therapy courses? Did it ever? It did, right?
It was crazy.
Okay.
Really, really crazy. I mean, most of the time it did. Yeah. So
Okay.
what kept me going was, you know, you asked me how I went through school, became a dental therapist. I mean, it's crazy, but I really love what I do. You get. So I always find a way because honestly, I've actually made more money as, a performance poet.
Yeah.
I just graduated last year. So, I mean, I could actually, sort myself out, with the money I get from performance poetry. So, and I enjoyed it. The most important thing is I enjoy performing my poems. And also, it's something I really, really enjoy. So even when, I made time, I made sure, when they say, there's this adage that says, every action has a reaction. So yeah, I always wait for the reaction. And I tend to everything duly. So that was how I was.
Okay, is there any kind of poet performer that influenced you at a point? Because initially you started as a writer and your friends started reading before you grew to attend some of these events, right? Is there any poet performer that gave you this go-ahead order, this influence that you should go ahead with this?
I do, like, when I saw one video, I went for more. There's this lady, something Umana, she's a Christian poet.
Okay.
So I've actually seen her video before, but I really didn't understand what it was. Okay. So there's this piece she performed about Easter and the story of Christ's death and all of that. So a friend of mine shared it on Easter Sunday. I just saw it and I was like, it's cool. Then I've forgotten her name, one Nigerian poet. So when I found out about this one, I went for another 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 one. So like there was just
continuously.
So many, I cannot count. Count.
Yeah.
Okay,
so people have this short-term memory in them, right? Do you think your poem has actually made someone to remember or to even captivate them? Because you said your poem is more therapeutic to people, right?
No, I said it started as therapy. It was therapy for me.
Okay, for you,
yes.
Right? Do you think it kind of captivates people?
If my poems captivate people?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, after performing a poem, I have people walk up to me and like, that's cool. Okay, there's this piece I made on, there's this piece I recorded about self-discovery. I had a whole lot of, comments, people in my DM, even people that don't relate to poetry, they come to me and they're like, wow, that's like really, really cool. That spoke to me and, all of that. Yeah. So yes, it reaches out to them. The beautiful thing about poetry is, it speaks to you. I mean, it sits with you and, it resonates with you. It makes you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask now, because I know people that write prose is whatsoever they can't say with their mouth sometimes, they pen it down. Do poets face challenges doing this?
Yes.
What are the challenges? Is it lack of words?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. I don't know. Personally, I think poetry gives me audacity. It gives me
emphasis on audacity.
It gives me a voice that I ordinarily would not have. So I don't think, poets are scared. I don't think poets are, people that don't have the, audacity to talk. I mean, it's just a tool, their own tool of, poetry is expression. First is expression. So, I mean, I don't know. I always tell some of my friends that, I walk onto a stage to talk and everybody listens. You just have to listen. And, poetry gives you that privilege and it's a very beautiful thing. So I don't think, we have our problems. we have our problems, and we experience life. I mean, one thing is you cannot talk about things, something that you don't know, something that you don't experience.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to, at least if you don't experience, you have to know about these things to be able to address it, or talk about it even through poetry. So yes, poetry is not, I mean, poets are not weaklings. Poets are not, people that cannot speak, or poetry is a voice.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, you can do activism with poetry, you can educate with poetry, you can entertain. I mean, there's nothing you cannot evoke with poetry.
With poetry.
Yes.
You're going to do a freestyle for us. You're going to do a freestyle for us, because I used to think sometimes that the challenges you people face is possibly lack of words, because which other challenge do they face? These people talk from their heart, from their brain, and what they've experienced, right? So, but let me ask now, in what way do you think that poem has actually reflect to societal issues?
Just like I said before, activism.
Okay.
Yeah, I know somebody, Alan Islam. She's a very popular Muslim poet. She's an activist.
Okay.
There's this lady, I've forgotten her name. She is an activist. I can't remember. But there's a whole lot. You get the war countries, they use it, to talk about these things.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so you can use it as activism. You can use it to educate.
Yeah.
It's a tool for education. And the beautiful thing about poetry is it's done in a way that it's appealing. So I mean, you can't help but listen. And when you listen, you get the message, you get the information.
Okay.
So that's the beautiful thing about poetry. It's not boring. Especially spoken word poetry. It's not boring. It's it uses dictions that are really, really entertaining and engaging. The humor, the wordplay, the puns, and all of that. It does it in a very creative way that you can't help but get the message. I mean, you get it. You then decide either to enforce it or not. But then the truth is, you get the message.
Interesting. All right, so do a freestyle for us in just 1 minute.
Okay. When your world seems clouded and grey, and your body is just halfway drowning in the pool of your own tears, when your heart is an abyss this close to swallowing you whole, you should remember you can always come home. Like Super Balls, all you've ever questioned about life bounces back without reply. When this place feels like a house erected on life wires, everything you touch twitches you up, and you barely survived the last shock, you should remember you can always come home. Like Super Balls, all you've ever questioned about life bounces back without reply. When this place feels like a house erected on life wires, everything you touch twitches you up, and you barely survived the last shock, you should remember you can always come home. You want to be millionaire, yet all you have left is nothing short of a single lifeline. It's okay to come back home, for in this salvation song, Robert holds no shame. A wandering feet deserve rest, so there's nothing to regret. Come home to the throne of your coronation.
I kind of understand, but explain to us what it means.
Okay, this poem is titled Homecoming.
Okay.
So you go on a journey and it's difficult. You don't know where to go from there. I mean, coming home to replan and restart is not,
Easy.
it's not failure. It's not, giving up.
Okay.
It's just you re-strategizing. So it's okay to come home.
I think someone out there needs it. So come home. If you're getting tired, come back home and rethink, re-strategize, right? I explained it right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do something with you. We'll do a social trend.
Oh,
Okay. But first, I think I have to play just few games with you. You're cool with social media abbreviations, right?
Not really.
Why? Why? Okay, no problem. We'll go on a short break.